once again, we found out that it was probably more work than we were willing to put in to try to do the detailed modeling. We ended up doing the calculations just based on total energy consumption. Once you make that decision, where to go get the data is pretty obvious. When we wanted to see how much electricity and natural gas was consumed, all we really had to do was go ask the electric company. They were quite forthcoming with the data. It was for the area served by the utility, not specifically for the city of Greenville. But it wasn't too difficult to make some reasonable assumptions to scale the total consumption to what would have been within Greenville. Most of that was just done by ratioing the population of Greenville to the population served by the utility company. For transportation fuels, we were pretty sure we'd just rush out and find out how many gallons of gasoline were sold in Greenville, or if not Greenville, Pitt County. For some reason, that was much harder to get. We ended up taking the fuel sold in North Carolina, ratioing that to the population of Greenville, and coming up with a number of gallons of gas. We were able to get the number of vehicles that are registered in Greenville. If we took the vehicles times 12,000 miles a year times about 18 miles per gallon, we could match the number of gallons we got the other way, so we were pretty confident that number was correct. For solid waste, it was pretty easy to find out how many tons of solid waste were hauled out of the city. Without a whole lot of trouble, that's the answers that we came up with in terms of electrical consumption in kilowatts, natural gas in million cubic feet, gasoline and diesel fuel in gallons, etc. When those numbers were plugged into software, which was pretty easy, we came up with a number of, in bold on the bottom, the total greenhouse gas emissions for Greenville, we think, was just about 1,500,000 tons per year, which seemed like a staggering number at the time. We just had a couple other ways of looking at the same numbers. We found it was 26% residential, 39% commercial, 32% transportation, and not real significance in solid waste. I'll back up real quick. Down at the very bottom, in our numbers, we found that the city government accounted for less than 1% of the total use in the area, and almost all of it was the community. Just a different way of looking at the data, rather than who used it, where did it come from. Of the greenhouse gas emissions in Greenville, 56% is electric, 25% gasoline, 10% natural gas. Those are the numbers that came out for pollutants, and once again, in the end, we didn't find that particularly significant. There is another study that was done for the state of North Carolina by an agency called U.S. Climate Strategies. They came up with North Carolina emitting, that's 192 million tons. If we ratioed the population of Greenville to the population of North Carolina, this study would have said we accounted for about 1.538. Not necessarily a meaningful number, but it was close enough to the number we came up with that we felt good. And I guess I'm pretty sure without too much effort, we were able to come up for Greenville with a greenhouse gas calculation that's well in the ballpark, and it's probably within 10 or 20% of the real number. And that's probably all I have.